Hey viewers, George here to do a first impression of talking a bit on Mario vs. Donkey Kong Tripping Stars. So this game came out on both the 3DS and the Wii U at the same day and all that stuff. And if you were to buy one version of this game, you get a code for the other version to download on the other system. So it's a neat little thing. You can get both versions, or if you have like a Wii U, you can give the other one, and you don't have a 3DS, you can give it to your friend, or vice versa, or whatever. So I mean, it's a nice little idea, and I really like it. Just as a quick complaint to this concept, there's like I didn't really see any way to kind of like have the data bounce between them, like a cross-play feature, to prevent you from having to redo levels and whatnot. Or like something along those lines, or have your times or ranks or whatever be seen across both the platforms for you to utilize. It's a small thing, and I really didn't expect it, considering Nintendo hasn't really exercised much of a cross-play feature between the Wii U and the 3DS. But it would have been interesting to see as a concept utilized for this idea. But minor complaint. Let's actually talk about the game and complain about that if I can, because this is actually a really solid game. If you haven't played any of the other Mario vs. Donkey Kong games within this little series, essentially it kind of plays on a bit of a core feature from the arcade game Donkey Kong, but like they've added a couple more things to it to kind of make it a bit more updated, but also kind of more puzzle based than arcade platformer of some sorts. And I mean, it's been pretty good. I've enjoyed every installment in this little series. So to finally get like a new one that kind of goes back to how it sort of was to begin with, because the last one kind of deviated a tad bit with more of a 3D concept around it. But that's hearsay, right? We're talking about Tripping Stars, which is a very bizarre title, to be honest. I don't know why they'd be tripping stars. Like, it was tripping a whole lot of things. The Mario universe is full of things like, I don't know, fire flowers, one-ups, mushrooms. Tripping Stars. So if you haven't played this, basically you control these little toys that are kind of like Mario wind-up toys, or Peach toys, or Luigi, Toad, Donkey Kong, or Paulina, who, for those of you who might be a little too young to know Paulina was, she was the damsel in distress from the original Donkey Kong arcade game. So, I mean, like, they of course brought her back, which is a very nice touch to it. I do love that. That was always one of my favorite things. It's like, oh, cool, Paulina. Wow, she is a whore. Like, she's basically like Nintendo's, Jessica Rabbit almost. Like, the red dress and, like, the tons of makeup on her face and shit. It's like, wow. Nintendo. Beyond that, though. So, is there really anything new that we haven't seen in, like, the other entries into the series, besides the last one, whichever that one was? I can't remember. Not entirely that I can tell. I should say that there is one big change from it, I believe, because it's been a while since I played one of the main ones. Like I said, the last one I played was it was like moving the minis or whatever, which was like a 3DS download. So the big main difference, I think, from what I've seen is when you have like one of the little mini toys enter into the exit gate, the other ones have to get in there within a certain time limit, like 5 seconds or whatever, before that door closes on them, and like you lose the level. So that's like a little extra thing to kind of make sure you have everything timed out perfectly before like you start sending them through the door to finish the level. So that's a really nice thing, and also, you know, leave no mini behind. I was trying to think if that was in any of the other ones, but I really don't think it was. So I don't know. It's a really it's a really neat idea, and it kind of just makes the gameplay a little more, you know, involved, essentially, to try and make sure everything works out. Because like you can spend as much time as you want, like before you start the level, to kind of look at the layout and kind of strategize what you might do to try and, you know, make things go smoother. Because as soon as you touch a toy to start moving, is when the timer goes, unless like a level forces you to move quick. So that's a really neat thing. I do like that. It makes this game, which is a puzzle game, have a bit more of a strategic approach to it. So I do like that. That's really cool. And, you know, you kind of can, you know, intake everything, try and figure things out. But I mean, at the same time, if there's a lot going on in a level, it might be a tad bit overwhelming too. To some people, I can definitely see some people kind of looking at, you know, some of these levels that have a lot of things going, like, you know, enemies and cannons and, you know, giant Donkey Kongs that flip you up. And, you know, just like, it's like, oh my god, this is too much. I'll come back later. I can definitely see that kind of happening. But I still like it. I can fuck them, because I do like that. Just, you know, nice bit of time beforehand. So it's a neat idea. I like it. What else was I gonna say about this? So, the huge differences. I was trying to figure out what the difference between the Wii U version and the 3DS versions were, because obviously there has to be some sort of difference. They can't be identical. They're very closely identical. Give or take a few minor changes to some levels here and there to kind of like suit the 3DS, it seems. Because obviously if you're playing on the Wii U, you have a slightly, you know, wider screen to kind of work with the level setups, because a lot of levels do only take place on one screen, and there's no, you know, need to scroll around it or whatever. And I guess they were trying to keep a lot of that on the 3DS, so they kind of had to size it down, because of course the screen size on the 3DS is, you know, more, you know, squared off than rectangular like a TV or the gamepad. So small changes like that, but it doesn't affect the gameplay immensely or like changes it completely. It's just slight changes here and there. So there's that. Difficulty between the two is identical. You know, number of levels are going to be identical, considering they kept them pretty much similar, give or take. Like, you know, this cliff isn't quite there, like as far out as it was in the other version or whatever. So small things like that. What else? So when you're playing this game, every time you've completed a level, you'll be ranked with the stars. This is standard fare with a lot of games. But the neat thing what they do with these stars, when you collect them, is you use them to unlock things so you can like place them in the level editor, which is of course nothing new. This game has always had the level editor concept in all the other ones. I believe it had it in the Game Boy Advance version, but whatever. And so you use these stars that you get from doing really good in the levels to unlock other features and whatnot you can use in the main, like in the level editor, which is a really neat thing considering they're very playing quite heavily to the level editor for these games, because of the Miiverse and street passing and all that stuff, and you know, internet connections being a hell of a lot better on these two systems than they were on the previous systems. So there's quite a bit of focus, and they've definitely made a lot of the features geared towards unlocking really cool things you can do with the multiplayer, or sorry, with the level editor, and then have those uploaded for people to play. So with that said, how is the level editor? It doesn't seem like a whole lot has changed really between Tripping Stars level editor and whatever, not Moving the Minis, but the one that was before that level editor. Actually, Moving the Minis might have had one, and it wasn't that interesting either. But one of the biggest problems I have with this is you don't have a lot of room to play with when it comes to creating levels. Like, you do have room, but it only goes like so high compared to how wide you can make the level, which is a very unfortunate thing, because I would love to make, huge scraping, skyscraping tower-esque levels, because I'm just fucking batshit insane like that. But you can't, build oh so high, but you can build oh so long. So there's little things like that that's a little, But, level editor is really cool, and have been working a couple ideas for levels that are just like, you've got to be really on the ball to kind of complete them. So I'm a bit of I want to try and make very masochist-esque levels, but I'm pretty sure other people have beat me to the punch by now, because that's going to be the big thing for this game, is downloading other people's levels to play. That's definitely what Nintendo's going with this game, as opposed to the other installments, because there's only so many levels that they've created, and they definitely want more. So be like, so here's what you can do. Now we're gonna give you the tools to have fun with it. Almost like they're prepping us up for that Mario Maker game, which is looking really fucking exciting. So yeah, level editor is cool. It has a lot of things. You have your standard things like switches and the bridges you can build and take away, pipes, other little things like you can unlock like a mini that holds a key, and he has to unlock the door, so he has to be the first one to the door before the other ones can go through. Small, little gameplay features like that. Of course, there's Luigi, who's a new addition to the little moving me guys, or mini toy guys. I haven't actually played with a Luigi one yet, so I don't know, how different he is compared to the other ones, but kind of just looking at it, there isn't a huge difference between them, because pretty early on you get a Mario and a Peach one, and there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of a difference between them. But I swear I could recall in the other versions, each of the little toys had some sort of thing to them. Like Mario was a standard one, and another one would be able to, I think Toad would be able to carry things or some shit like that, or Donkey Kong was big enough to climb over slightly higher hills or some shit like that. I don't know the exact details, but I swear there was smaller. There's each toy had a different thing to it that you had to utilize to kind of complete a puzzle. But it doesn't seem to be the case with this one. It's just more so you can have different doors that each of those have to go through. That is their own, like a multi-door sort of thing. So yeah, whatever. I guess. What else we got? I don't want to forget to talk about this, but the fucking music in this game, is pretty good, and it gets really, it gets pretty cool by the second world that you go to, which is it's called Jumping Jungle, and I kid you not, they have a rendition in the game of the Donkey Kong Country theme, from level 1 of Donkey Kong Country, and I was like, thank you, that was fucking awesome. It just seems so convenient considering they recently released the 3 Donkey Kong Country games on the Wii U and the 3 Donkey Kong Land games on the 3DS, and then they were also having a little bit of a sale with the other 2 Donkey Kong games that were on the systems. So it just seems really weird that they would add that, but I mean, that's still really cool. Just kind of hearing that, because it kind of just makes me want to just stop playing it and listen to it. But as for the other level musics, they sound really cool. It's just that one stuck out to me because it's Donkey Kong Country, of course. Everyone knows that theme and how cool that theme is. So yeah, the music is really nice, and I really do like it. It works perfectly for the game. Like, before you start a level, you kind of just have like a backbeat happening, but as soon as you touch one of the toys to start moving, the music kind of kicks in with the action. I really like that. That makes it that much more engaging. Kind of like the player has a lot of control within the game than they obviously do. So it's just a little nice feature that they kind of threw in there. Not even a feature, just got a nice little thing that they threw in there, and it works really nicely. There are some bonus levels that you unlock as well by collecting more stars, and they're levels that you can get more stars from, I guess. Beyond that, though, I think my biggest complaint may be the price. The price of this game is about $22, but I mean, at the same time, you're kind of getting both versions for that price as well. But with that said, not everyone has both the Wii U and the 3DS. Very few people, well, I don't want to say very few people, but there's definitely, people out there who don't have both versions. So, they'll buy, this $22 game, and they only kind of get like what would essentially be, $10 or $11 purchase if it was just the one version. So I think Nintendo may benefit by kind of like having a like separate sort of thing. Like, you can buy both versions at once, or you can buy one kind of thing. I think that's what they probably should have done, so people kind of have the choice if they just want to buy it on one system or if they want to have both both versions available to them. But it's a slightly small complaint, especially considering both versions are pretty much the same. You just have like, hey, I can play it on my home console, and then while I'm out, I can also replay it on my DS, because there's nothing to tell the two different versions that I've played so much of this game, of this version. I'd like to, not replay those later, kind of thing. Because I mean, it's not that they're difficult or anything. It's just like, it's not that exciting to replay a level so soon after, completing it already. It just seems very tedious, especially when it comes to a puzzle game as well. So, slightly small complaints. I think something that could have definitely been fixed with adding some sort of cross-play feature of sorts. But I don't know, they could do that in an update. That's definitely something you could fix in an update. Throwing in a feature where it's like, hey, if on the Wii version you've completed, these 8 levels, on the 3DS version you won't have to do those 8 levels, because the two systems tell each other, hey, he's done it already, don't worry. He knows what he's doing, don't bother having him, go through that shit again. So, yeah, I think that would have been an idea that they should have probably thrown in there to kind of make the experience a little more enjoyable, and kind of like, hey, I can take the game on the go sort of thing. After playing it on the Wii U, I can take it on the go. That would have been a nice little idea, but I guess Nintendo's not really into the crossplay idea, which they really should be. Crossplay is definitely a really interesting feature, despite the fact I haven't actually played it, considering I don't have a PlayStation Vita. But I think it's a really interesting idea, and I definitely think it's something Nintendo should have utilized with this game, for sure. Is there anything else I want to talk about? Not really. That's about it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like any of the other installments in the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series. If you've played one of them, you definitely know what you're getting yourself into. There's a few new elements added into the game to kind of make it feel a bit newer, but at its core, it's the same experience, which isn't a bad thing. Like I said, Mario vs. Donkey Kong is a fantastic puzzle game that definitely a lot more people should play. You should definitely play if you haven't, but if you've played the other ones, you kind of know what you're going to get yourself into. I don't know, maybe wait till it drops in words drops in price, but that's if it does, if they throw it on sale, because Nintendo's quite random with their sales, especially with their first party games in some cases, because it tends to be thematic in some sorts. So I don't know, when the next Donkey Kong game comes out, that's when they'll have it on sale. So yeah, with that all said and done, until next time, keep on gaming.